2020, but a year. Am I right? My 2020 started off like many of yours. Actually, it started off great. I started at Roots Tech 2020, where I was teaching classes about connection and families and learning more about it, meeting people and having those connections. And it was just an incredible experience. Not even a week after that, I come home to basically lockdown. And it was crazy to go from that high to that low. After about 6 weeks of being mom, best friend, teacher, cook, cleaning woman, and all of those things to my 4 children, I started to have the walls closing in around me. And my husband said, "You need a break." When I took that break, I had an inspired thought. Well, actually, it was 3 thoughts. The first was, you need to do the 21-day family history challenge. You also need to invite all your friends to do it, and you need to measure the psychological benefits. What? Okay. The background is the 21-day family history challenge is a challenge I did several years ago. It was an invitation to women who were feeling stressed and overwhelmed. And basically, she was inviting us to try connecting through family history for 21 days. I did it and I had an incredible experience. So much so that for years, I've done it anytime that I start feeling meh, just kind of out of sync. It also kicked off my entire journey of teaching about family history because it opened up my mind to what family history really is, and that it's more than just connecting with the past, but that it's also the present and the future. And so that's exciting to me. And so I could understand why during this isolation, I would feel motivated to try that. It makes sense to invite my friends, right? Why wouldn't I want to invite my friends? They're in isolation too. They could definitely use this. The third one was a little more troubling. Measure the psychological benefits. What? I'm not a scientist. I'm a mom. I'm a family historian. I don't know anything about the psychological benefits. So when I thought about that, I decided I wanted to do a little research and see what was out there. And basically, I wanted to be able to have a little evidence if I was going to invite my friends to do this, that there was maybe some value in it beyond the word of my word, because I knew it worked. But, so I started digging. And the first part was the 21 days. Why 21 days? Well, we've all heard, 21 days to make or break a habit. That's great. But I did a little research and then I realized, of course, we all know it takes 21 days for our neural pathways in our brains to reroute themselves, right? I'm just joking. Of course, we don't all know that, but that was a little more boring research. The fun research came when I started digging about why family history might be valuable. So I want to share a quote with you from Libby Copeland, and she is an author, and she is an incredible author, and she's here at Roots Tech. So go check out her class as well. She said, "Family history teaches what's possible." I like that. We are all of us the legacy of ordinary people who set out for new places and fought wars and kept working hard when they were tired and kept being brave when they were scared. I love that. She then goes on to say, we are the products of their ingenuity, their luck, and their stubbornness. I love that too. Family history offers lessons that can be bracing, cruel, and optimistic, sometimes all at once. Okay, I'm starting to see why there could be some serious power to doing this for 21 days. She says they are lessons in the tenuousness of life and in endurance. Family history can be a means of connection and solace. Oh, I love that. Connection and solace. The word connection started to stand out to me a lot as I started working on this project and exploring this. And it led me to this quote from Emma Sapela. And it's also in Psychology Today, which is where I found Libby Copeland's quote as well. And she says, social connection improves health, well-being, and longevity. The truth of the matter is that a sense of social connection is one of our fundamental human needs. We've explored that a lot on this Power of Connection series. And if you haven't watched the rest of the Power of Connection series, I invite you to go back and look. We've talked about emotional well-being and physical well-being, and I know you can learn a lot from exploring those courses as well. But she adds here that what I think is interesting is we can foster, nurture, and build our internal sense of connection. I love that. if we can foster and build and nurture it, then we have a lot of power to use all of these things that we've talked about with the power of connection to improve our lives and our families' lives. Okay. And so the 21-day Family Connections Experiment was born. So what is it? Exactly. It's a 21-day social experiment exploring the psychological benefits of daily connection with family past and present. It's also a community project. It's built by the community for the community, and it's rooted in family history. We've been careful about how we've chosen to word all of our slogans and our titles and things like that, because we want to open up the world's mind to what family history can truly be. So it goes beyond your traditional family history research and genealogy research into connecting with living and future and past family. But mostly it's an experiment. It's an experiment where participants can come, they take a survey at the beginning and at the end that gauges their mood. And then they commit to 21 days of increased connections. They engage in family connection activities each day for as little as 5 minutes a day. And we have a huge library of resources, several 21-day plans with different themes that they can use and get daily prompts. Or there's other resources like our Connections Idea Generator, which is an incredible resource that you can come and get a quick idea any day, a variety of topics and styles of connecting. And you can also come and use that to connect, even if you're not a participant, even if you're just needing a little connection in your life. Some of the ideas that are on our plans and in the Connections Idea Generator that you would see would be fun things like connecting with your family through family story time, sharing either family history stories or talking about something that's happened in your family's life that maybe you all have some different perspective on. You can use tools like WhatsApp or Marco Polo or Zoom to record these conversations and engage in this storytelling. What about playing games? We love to play games with our families, turning that into family history. These activities are great, are basically ideas for how to do that and connect in these unique and fun ways. Dinner time Q&A, that's one of my favorites. Just being intentional about asking your kids and your family specific questions and sharing specific things from your life. And celebrating birthdays never gets old because we can always use more cake, right? So why not celebrate an ancestor's birthday? And I do this one often. I love cake. And then how about calling a relative, even an aunt or an uncle, and just getting to know them a little more, having some good questions thought out beforehand or shared with you through our activities in our Idea Generator. And you can even do genealogy. So there's so many fun, incredible ways for connecting. That's just a few. There's also great resources about the evidence of basically what this project is about. Now, I have to say here that we're not scientists. We are just people who are exploring this. And so, of course, it's an informal experiment. It's definitely not scientific, but it's fun to see what participants come and experience. So what happened as we did this? Well, let me show you. We had over 5,500 participants participate from 77 different countries. I cannot tell you how exciting that was. When the small group of us got together and started putting this together, we thought we'd be lucky to have about 200 people. And here we were with 5,500. We didn't even know what to think about that. And then from all over the world, that was so exciting. We had over 3,400 people follow us in different social channels, which was great because we got a lot more communications and interactions. And then we had 86,000 page views. That floored me. What was super cool about this one was that our average time on the website for someone visiting was over 2 minutes. To me, that said that they were coming and they were engaging and they were enjoying those connections with their family. It wasn't just a brief visit. They were spending time and getting to know and engaging in these activities. So what did we learn? I'm really excited to share this with you because this is basically what we learned from the results of the surveys. I'm going to share the screen a little bigger for this part. All right. So of course, the first thing we want to ask is, Did moods improve? That was our number one question we asked on our survey. 75% of participants reported a mood improvement as they increased their connections. That was so great. Basically, what we set out to do was show that our moods would improve, and this showed that. I was so excited about that. But we also gauged a few other things along the way. One of the questions we asked was about anxiety and depression. And so this was the way that we worded this question. It said, I have found myself feeling anxious or depressed. And the answers were always, often, sometimes, rarely, and never. What I love about these, when you look at the pre-experiment on the left and the post-experiment on the right, is how often went from almost 25% to a tiny sliver on the right in the post-experiment survey. That is exciting that many people would go from often to not that many people having it often. But what was even more cool to me was if you added up the people who were never and rarely in the pre-experiment, there was only about 25% who were in that lower category, which is where we would all love to live, right? And by the end of 21 days, you had almost 75% of the people reporting that they never or rarely felt anxious or depressed. That's success in my book. So the other question we asked was, similar style. I have found myself feeling unlovable. Always. Often. Did you notice what happened there? Always and often was 0 participants reported feeling that on the post-experiment survey. That is awesome. Sometimes you can see that one jumped from quite a good chunk to a lot smaller chunk, but this is my favorite, rarely and never. Look how big it was. By the end, nearly 97% of participants reported that they never or rarely felt unloved. I love that. That made me so happy. If you have family and friends who are struggling with self-esteem and these feelings, like, give this a shot. Invite them to come and participate and try. Okay, so we had so much success in May that we decided, let's try it again in October. We had a lot of people request, are we going to do this again? So we did it again in October. And with this experiment, we decided we were going to add one more question. And that was, if you have a negative habit that you would like to overcome, how problematic is it for you on a scale of 1 to 10? With 1 not being at all and 10 being extremely. Now, our logic here was just, hey, let's gauge and see if this whole 21-day concept can maybe help us overcome some bad habits. So let's take a look at what our findings were. So in the pre-survey, you can see that most people were reporting a 7 or an 8 or a 9, which is pretty, well, 7 or 8, which is pretty high. That's pretty problematic in my world if extremely is 10. And by the end, see what happened. That 7 and 8 shrunk significantly. We only had 10% reporting 7 and less than 5 reporting 8. 9 and 10 were all very low too, which was great to me. I mean, it's not like scientifically proven that we're going to overcome a bad habit, but there's evidence there to me that says, hey, this might help. So if you have a family member who's trying to overcome a negative habit, this might be a great resource. All right. Now this question is one of them I'm very excited to share with you as well. Excuse me. And that is, what did you learn? This question is what we asked on our survey. And I had such an incredible experience exploring the answers to this question. So I'm just going to share a few of the participants' experiences with you. This challenge has renewed me. I needed and wanted to feel more connected with my family, and you made it possible. Thank you. It helped me feel purposeful. It increased the calm and peace in our home. I finally made peace with myself. I don't like record searching much, but have never allowed myself to work on photo books because to me, they didn't count. Now I'm enjoying the freedom to do what makes sense for me at this time in my life. This participant shared with me a story about how she did family story time on Zoom, and a couple of her siblings who had not been speaking with each other for over 7 years were in this story time and connected. And by the end, they were laughing and connecting with each other. And she was so grateful for that experience. She said, "Your challenge got me thinking outside my own box, and I am so grateful." Family history is a mood booster. Yes, it is. We could have been fighting or having a bad day, but when it was time for the experiment, we all started smiling and laughing. And what household could not use a little more smiling and laughing and a mood boost each day? This participant said she put down her phone for a change and got to know her personal family that she loved so much better. "I really thought I knew them," she said, "but I know them way better now." And we could all benefit from that. "I really felt like this was a support for me and my family. It was there to help me out when I needed ideas, but it wasn't so challenging that it made me anxious. I felt more connected to my family that needs me now, and that to me was priceless." Family is so important. I learned that just a few minutes of connection each day brings a wealth of love and hope, especially while we've been quarantined. "I learned that I want to find all that I can about my family background and also to encourage others to do the same, not just names and dates, but who they were and what they did with their lives. I learned that learning about ancestors doesn't have to be boring." That's what I learned too. And I've been trying to shout it from the rooftops since. I invite you to come and participate. Come visit us at connections-experiment.com. Opt in. We switched things up this year. What we're doing now is having a special featured plan every month that you can participate in. Our other plans are always available, but we were trying to cater to the community who were asking, can we do this more often or when we want to, or, different timing. And so we thought we'd make it easier and more available. So you can come take the survey, come pick a plan or use our featured plan that month, get the reminders, and then just report back to us and let us know how it went. Take that final survey, let us know if your mood improved, and share it with your friends and your family. We're also always looking for people to help us contribute to the project. We would love your ideas for activities, for plans, how-tos, interviews, anything that we can do to make connecting with your family, past and present, more fun. We want those ideas. So bring them to us. We also have an incredible community of volunteers, and it's always growing. We would love to have you on the project. If you have passion for this, I cannot tell you how much fun it is to be part of it. So come and join us. Let us know. And with that said, I just want to invite you. I look forward to seeing you at the project. Let us know if you heard about it at Roots Tech. We would love to hear about that. We'd love to connect with you more and enjoy connecting at Roots Tech. You're going to have an incredible experience. Just enjoy the journey. And thanks for joining us on the Power of Connection series.